15. The grand doors of Sterling Corporation swung open, but it wasn't a polished professional who stepped inside. Instead, a tiny girl, no older than 7, with bright, determined eyes and clutching a slightly crumpled resume, walked up to the front desk. The receptionist, a woman used to seeing titans of industry, blinked in surprise. "Can I help you, sweetie?" she asked, leaning over her desk. The little girl stood on her tiptoes and announced clearly, "I'm here for the job interview. My mom's sick, so I came instead." 0p15. 1. A ripple of hushed whispers spread through the opulent lobby. People in sharp suits glanced over, some amused, some annoyed by the interruption. The receptionist was about to gently explain that this wasn't possible when a deep voice cut through the murmurs. "Let her in." All heads turned. Standing at the entrance to the executive hallway was Mr. Sterling himself, the Millionaire CEO known for his stern demeanor and sharp business acumen. His face was unreadable, but his eyes were fixed on the little girl. He gestured towards his office. "I'll handle this interview." The receptionist's jaw dropped as the little girl, whose name was Lily, bravely followed the CEO into his magnificent corner office, the massive door closing behind them with a soft click. 102 pow. Inside, the office was intimidating. Floor-to-ceiling windows offered a stunning view of the city, and a massive mahogany desk dominated the room. Mr. Sterling sat down in his large leather chair and gestured for Lily to take a seat opposite him. Her little feet dangled high above the floor. "So," he began, his voice surprisingly gentle. "Your mother is unwell?" Lily nodded solemnly. "She has the flu. She was very sad because she said this job was our big chance. She practiced her answers all week." She pushed the resume across the polished desk. "I know all her answers. You can ask me." Mr. Sterling picked up the paper, which belonged to a woman named Sarah Vance. He recognized the name from the shortlist. The resume was impressive, showing skill and experience, but a significant gap in employment stood out. 2. 3. Mr. Sterling leaned forward, resting his elbows on the desk. "All right, Lily, let's start the interview. Tell me, what is your mother's greatest strength?" Lily's face lit up. "That's easy. My mom is the strongest person I know. When my dad left, she cried for one night, and then the next morning, she made me pancakes and told me we were a team. She learned how to fix the leaky sink from a video, and she works 2 jobs just so I can have my favorite crayons." She spoke with such earnestness and love that Mr. Sterling found himself smiling, a rare event during work hours. He had expected a child's simplistic answer, but instead, he heard a testament to a mother's resilience and dedication. 3 before Crow. "And her greatest weakness?" Mr. Sterling asked, his curiosity piqued. Lily bit her lip, thinking hard for a moment. "Her weakness is me," she said softly. Mr. Sterling raised an eyebrow. "How so?" Lily explained. "Sometimes she worries so much about me that she forgets to eat dinner. And she won't buy a new coat for herself because she's saving up for my school trip. She always puts me first, even when she shouldn't." Mr. Sterling felt a pang in his chest. His own mother had made similar sacrifices, a memory he hadn't revisited in years. He was starting to see the woman behind the resume, not just as a candidate, but as a person. 405, Sarah. He glanced at the employment gap on the resume again. "I see your mother hasn't worked for the past few years. Can you tell me why?" Lily didn't hesitate. "That's when I got sick," she said matter-of-factly. "The doctors were very worried. Mom stayed with me in the hospital every single day. She read me stories and held my hand and told me I was a fighter. She said no job was more important than being my mom when I needed her most." The pieces of the puzzle clicked into place for Mr. Sterling. The employment gap wasn't a sign of laziness or a lack of ambition. It was a badge of honor, a symbol of a mother's unwavering love and sacrifice. 516 go. He looked at this small child, who had so bravely and eloquently advocated for her mother. In her, He saw a reflection of the very values he tried to build his company on: loyalty, integrity, and a deep sense of commitment. He had been looking for a skilled project manager, but Sarah Vance was clearly more than that. She was a problem solver, a fighter, and someone who understood priorities. He made his decision. He pulled out a fresh piece of company letterhead and began to write. "What are you doing?" Lily asked, peering over the desk. Mr. Sterling looked up and smiled warmly. "I'm writing your mother a job offer," he said. "But it comes with 2 conditions. 6-7. Lily's eyes widened. "What conditions?" she asked nervously. "First," Mr. Sterling said, "her starting salary will be 20% higher than what we advertised. She'll need it to make up for lost time and buy herself that new coat." He paused, then continued. "And second, she gets an extra week of paid leave each year, no questions asked, to be used for school trips, pancake mornings, or just being a mom. Her greatest weakness, as you put it, is actually her greatest asset. We need people with that kind of heart in this company." He folded the letter and handed it to Lily. "Can you give this to her?" 7-8, and Lily took the letter, her little hands trembling slightly. "But you didn't even meet her," she whispered, confused. Mr. Sterling leaned back in his chair. "I don't need to," he replied. "You've told me everything I need to know. Any woman who can raise a daughter as brave, intelligent, and loyal as you is exactly the kind of person I want on my team." He stood up and walked her to the door, placing a gentle hand on her shoulder. "You did a wonderful job, Lily. Your mother should be very proud of you." As Lily walked out of the office, letter in hand, the entire lobby watched in stunned silence. The receptionist now looked at the little girl with awe. 8-9. When Lily got home, she found her mom, Sarah, asleep on the couch, looking pale and exhausted. Lily quietly placed the letter on the table beside her, along with a glass of water and her own favorite teddy bear. When Sarah finally woke up, she saw the official Sterling Corporation envelope. Her heart sank, assuming it was a polite rejection. With a sigh, she opened it. As she read the words, her eyes filled with tears. It wasn't a rejection. It was an offer, one far more generous than she could have ever imagined. She read the part about the salary, the extra leave, and the CEO's personal note about needing people with heart. 9-10. At the bottom of the letter, a handwritten note read, "P.S. Your daughter is the most impressive candidate I have ever interviewed. You have already succeeded at the most important job in the world." Sarah looked over at Lily, who was now quietly drawing at the kitchen table. Her heart swelled with a love so powerful it took her breath away. This job wasn't just a big chance. It was a new beginning, one made possible not by a perfect resume or a practiced interview, but by the pure, unfiltered love of her daughter. That day, a Millionaire CEO didn't just hire a new employee. He was reminded that the greatest assets in life are not found on a balance sheet, but in the strength and character of the people around us. Thank you so much for watching. If this story touched your heart, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more inspiring content. We'll see you in the next video.